In the quiet village of Datchworth, nestled in Hertfordshire's rolling countryside, where ivy-clad cottages huddle beneath ancient oaks and time seems to linger among the hedgerows, a single lane carries whispers not born of wind, but of unrelenting woe. Rectory Lane, a narrow, winding stretch of road shadowed by gnarled trees and draped in autumn mist, is as unassuming as it is unsettling. By day, it is a picturesque path, dappled with sunlight and framed by wildflowers. By night, it is a place where footsteps falter and hearts quicken. Locals speak of a woman dressed in mourning, her presence as solid as yours or mine, until she vanishes, mid-step, into the thin, chill air of dusk. They call her the Black Nun, a name that evokes both pity and dread. But in life, she was Sarah Whitehead, a woman whose grief became a legend. The story begins in the early 19th century, during the Regency era, when the Whitehead family's modest respectability was shattered by scandal. Sarah's younger brother, Philip, a promising clerk at the Bank of England, was accused of embezzlement in 1811, a crime that rocked London's financial district and cast a shadow over his family's name. Philip, barely 25, had allegedly forged checks to fund a lavish lifestyle beyond his means, though some whispered he was framed by ruthless superiors eager to deflect blame for their own mismanagement. Tried swiftly at the Old Bailey, he was sentenced to death, and on a cold February morning in 1812, Philip was hanged at Newgate Prison, his body left to swing as a warning to others. The execution was a public spectacle, but for Sarah, it was a private cataclysm. The siblings had been inseparable, raised in a modest Cheapside home after their parents' early deaths, and Philip's loss severed the last thread of her world. Sarah, then in her early 30s, was consumed by grief that bordered on madness, denied the chance to see her brother before his execution, and refused his body for burial. She began appearing daily at the Bank of England's imposing Threadneedle Street gates, draped in full Victorian mourning attire, a black bonnet framing her pale face, a heavy black veil obscuring her eyes, and gloved hands clutching a tattered Bible. "Have you seen my brother?" she would ask the guards, her voice soft but piercing, as if she could summon Philip back through sheer desperation. She was a ghost even then, says Dr. Harriet Loxley, a historian specializing in English hauntings, who has studied Sarah's case. Her voice was quiet but relentless, her sorrow so palpable it unnerved even the sternest bankers. They pitied her, but they feared her too. The bank, embarrassed by her presence and the whispers of scandal she rekindled, eventually barred Sarah from the premises, threatening arrest if she returned. Cast into deeper despair, she retreated to the Whitehead family's countryside cottage in Datchworth, a gift from a distant uncle who hoped the rural quiet might soothe her fractured mind. But the move only deepened her isolation. In Datchworth, Sarah's mourning became a ritual. Her days spent pacing the lanes near the village rectory, her black silhouette a stark contrast to the green fields. Villagers, initially sympathetic, grew uneasy as her behavior turned stranger. She would stand for hours at the crossroads of Rectory Lane, staring into the distance, or knock on cottage doors at twilight, asking, "Is Philip here?" Some claimed she spoke to the air, as if her brother stood beside her, invisible to all but her. Sarah's death in 1818, at the age of 37, was as quiet as her life had become. Parish records list the cause as decline, a vague term that likely masked malnutrition or a broken heart. But her story did not end with her passing. By the 1820s, villagers began reporting sightings of a woman in black pacing Rectory Lane. Her mourning dress anachronistic even then, her movements slow and deliberate. She would approach passers-by with an eerie calm, her face half hidden by her veil, and softly ask, "Have you seen my brother?" Before anyone could answer, she would turn, her skirts rustling faintly, and vanish into the hedgerow or dissolve into the mist. She looked real, not ghostly, says Ellen Marchant, a retired schoolteacher who claims to have seen the figure in 1974 while walking her dog at dusk. She didn't float or glow. She was just a woman, lost from another time. But when she stepped around the oak at the lane's bend, she was gone. My dog whimpered for hours after. Over the decades, dozens of similar encounters have been reported, each eerily consistent. Motorists have slammed on their brakes to avoid a woman standing in the middle of Rectory Lane, only to find the road empty when they step out. Dog walkers describe an icy chill sweeping over them moments before a figure in black appears, her footsteps silent on the gravel. Children, too young to know the legend, have spoken of a sad lady in old clothes who asked for someone named Philip before fading into the twilight. In 1998, a visiting photographer, hoping to capture the lane's autumnal beauty, developed a roll of film that revealed a faint, dark shape standing beneath the oaks, though he swore no one was there when he pressed the shutter. The image, now kept in Datchworth's village archive, is too blurry to be conclusive, but remains a chilling artifact of the Black Nun's presence. Unlike many ghostly legends, the Black Nun inspires more sorrow than fear. She is not a vengeful spirit, nor a harbinger of doom. She seeks no justice, only her brother, her eternal search, a testament to a love unbroken by death. It's a story of grief, twisted by obsession, says Dr. Loxley, who has interviewed dozens of witnesses. Sarah's loss was so profound, so unresolved, that it seems to have imprinted itself on Rectory Lane, like a memory the land can't forget. She's not here to harm, she's here to mourn. Loxley's research uncovered a 19th century vicar's journal describing Sarah as a soul adrift, tethered to her sorrow, and an 1830s letter from a Datchworth farmer who saw a lady in black weeping by the rectory gate, though no sound came from her lips. These fragments, combined with oral traditions, paint a portrait of a haunting driven by longing rather than malice. Datchworth's residents have embraced the Black Nun as both a tragedy and a treasure, a story that sets their village apart. The Red Lion pub serves a nun's sorrow ale, its label depicting a veiled figure under an oak. And the annual Harvest Festival includes a quiet toast to Sarah, who still walks. Yet the lane itself is avoided after dark, its shadows too heavy with her presence. You feel her before you see her, says Tom Hadler, a 65-year-old blacksmith whose family has lived in Datchworth for generations. It's like a weight on your heart, a sadness that isn't yours. My mum saw her in the 50s, crossing the lane at midnight. She said her eyes were empty, but they looked right through you. Tom's story echoes others, from a 1980s postman who felt watched, while delivering letters to a 2015 teenager who heard a woman's voice whisper Philip while cycling home. Paranormal investigators have flocked to Rectory Lane, drawn by its reputation as one of Hertfordshire's most active haunting sites. In 2007, the Hertfordshire Ghost Society conducted a nighttime vigil, recording electromagnetic field, EMF spikes, and a faint, female voice saying, "Where is he?" on an audio device, though the lane was deserted. A 2020 investigation using thermal imaging captured a cold, humanoid shape near the oak where Sarah is often seen, but the figure vanished when approached. Skeptics, including a local historian who attributes the sightings to fog and overactive imaginations, argue that Sarah's story was exaggerated by Victorian sensationalism, her madness recast as a ghostly myth. Yet even they admit the lane's atmosphere is uncanny, its silence too deep, its air too still. Rectory Lane remains Datchworth's most quietly famous road, a place where the past feels closer than it should. The oaks that line it, some standing since Sarah's time, seem to guard her secret, their branches casting long shadows that shift like mourners in the moonlight. The village has changed, cottages modernized, fields paved for new homes. But the lane resists progress, its gravel path and stone walls. Sarah's story has inspired poets and folk singers, who see in her a universal ache for the lost, and her legend draws curious visitors, though locals warn against mocking her. "She's not a ghost to laugh at," says Ellen Marchant. "She's a woman who loved too much. You respect that, or you stay away." So if you ever find yourself walking down Rectory Lane at dusk, when the mist curls like fingers around the oaks and the world grows hushed, tread softly. If a woman in black approaches, her veil swaying gently, her voice a whisper asking for her brother, answer kindly. Offer a word of comfort, a moment of grace. Sarah Whitehead has been asking for a very long time, and her sorrow, like the lane itself, shows no sign of fading. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, subscribe and comment below.